Well, today we seem to have one of those perennial problems, which is a sheared off bolt in this little lawnmower engine. So there's a few ways I could try and get this out, and I think I'm going to try the lazy way first, which is I'm just going to try and weld a nut onto the top of the stud, because luckily there is a little bit of metal, bright metal still exposed, and I'm hoping that just a little bit of heat from the TIG welding torch will just help to ease it out. So we're going to try and weld a nut on it, but before we can weld a nut on it, we've just got to build up the metal on the end that we can just slip a nut over and then try that. That's what we're going to do. And I'm just going to use this plate of metal here just to offer a little bit of protection to the rest of the head. Oh, my shit nut welding gave way. That put more of a struggle than I thought it would. Snapped off again. Oh God, that is really surprisingly tight. It's actually just shearing my metal off. One thing I can think to do is see if I can get a bit more metal in there. You know, I've never known these to be as tight as this. These normally just drop out once I've had a bit of heat. It's going to shear off again. Well, you know, that's a good weld I'm getting on there, and it's just shearing that all the way across. That's taking some force to shear that. I don't think this is going to work because these big pair of pliers are just rounding off the head of this nut I've welded on, so I think that this stud is well and truly stuck in here. Normally once the top side has broken off, the underside comes off easily. Rubbish. Shearing off that again, I think. Well, I'm afraid that's another fail. This thing is well and truly in there. So my only thoughts now are to actually have a go at drilling it out on the milling machine. And I'm somewhat flabbergasted. I've actually never known this this method to fail, because normally the heat from the welder you know, expands everything, and these studs would normally just drop out. But you have a really nasty kind of corrosion cell, because you've got a steel stud going into an aluminium body here, an aluminium cylinder, and steel and aluminium, they are dissimilar metals. And you get what they call is a corrosion cell, and you get corrosion between the steel stud and the aluminium. Anybody who's owned a Land Rover in the past, you'll all know that generally the body on your Land Rover is fine. The aluminium is fine, but things like the bulkheads and anywhere where you've got a steel bolt, that's where the corrosion starts. So it's anywhere where you've got steel in direct contact with aluminium, you're likely to have problems. And yeah, this bolt is well and truly stuck, and yeah, I can't believe that method's failed. It never lets me down that. So I guess plan B now, and what plan B will be, is to try and drill it out on the milling machine, which I don't generally like doing because, well, yeah, there's probably more chance of it going horribly wrong than this that I've been trying. Don't know not to have one last go at it. Well, you know, stupid is as stupid does, and I had to have one last go. And that's shearing as well, I can feel it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yes. Well, I think that's enough of the foreplay. Time to go in hard and fast. Okay, I'm just knocking off the weld that I built up on it and flatten it off, ready to drill. Okay, hopefully you can see that. This is top of this stud now is about flush with the top of the block. It's maybe a couple of thou above, not much more. So what I intend to do next is I'm going to put the old cylinder head back on, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to use that as a guide to where this hole is. Well, that's the plan anyway. Well, we're going to drill this stud out, so I need to find the centre of it. So my cunning plan to find the centre is just to use a twist drill, and I've dropped it through the cylinder head guide. It's quite a tight fit there, so I'm hoping that that is going to centre with the top of the broken off bolt. Well, that's the cunning plan anyway. Well, I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get it. I'm hoping that's put a mark on. Okay, well, the good news is the material doesn't feel too hard. Oh, we're going through that very easily. Well, that went through fine. Let's go up a drill size. Well, I'm not holding out a huge amount of hope, but I've switched the drill, and what I've got here is I've got a cobalt drill, but more importantly it's left-handed, and I'm hoping, if I'm very lucky, that it's going to actually wind it out, but I'm probably not that lucky, but we'll have a go. Oh, looks as though that was the same size. Bugger! Bugger, didn't come out. Just looking to see if there's any thread poking through, but there isn't. Okay, so here's kind of the hard bit, in that we've took away most of the thread now, but there's just some little bits remaining, and the problem is you've got to try and get it out, and yeah, that's the hard bit. Sometimes, if you're lucky, if the hole's bigger than this, you can get hold of the old bit of thread, and you can just kind of get hold of it, and you can twist it out. But these bolts are pretty small, and I just don't think I can get in there to do it. You can see that sticking up there. That's the screw thread that's left over. Well, I think you better leave me to it. This could be a long job. Well, it took quite a lot of picking away at, but I think I managed to get that thread out, and yeah, it's in a little bit of a mess. I'm hoping that there's just enough left to run a tap through, and yeah, hopefully we'll just about get away with it, but I don't know. I think I'm getting the full depth, not exactly sure. Let's try running a bolt down, I think. It's a bit wobbly at the top here because the threads are pretty badly damaged. I think I might just countersink because it's a bit burred up at the very top. So I think I'll drop a countersink down there. Anyway, I think that's probably as far as we're going to get today. So I'm going to call that done. So I guess until next time, I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.